Hello, pirates. Mrs. Ott here. I'm going to read to you chapters 33 and 34 of the Tale of Despereaux. I hope you enjoy. Here we go. Chapter 33, page 166. A rat who knows her name. All right. Meg had climbed the dungeon stairs and was prepared to open the door to the kitchen when the rat spoke to her. "May I detain you for a moment?" Meg looked to her left. She looked to her right. "Down here," said Despereaux. Meg looked at the floor. "Gore," she said, "but you're a rat, ain't you? And didn't that old man just warn me of such? Beware the rats," he said. She held the tray up higher so that the light from the candle shone directly on Despereaux and the golden spoon on his head and the blood-red cloak around his neck. "There's no need to panic. None at all," said Despereaux. As he talked, he reached behind his back and using the handle, he raised the soup spoon off his head, much in the manner of a man lifting his hat to a lady. "Gore," said Meg, "a rat with manners." "Yes," said Despereaux. "How do you do?" "My papa had him some cloth, much like yours, Mr. Rat," said Meg. "Red like that. He traded me for it." "Ah," said Despereaux, and he smiled a large, knowing smile. "Ah, did he really? That is a terrible story, a tragic story. Reader, if you'll pardon me, we must pause for a moment to consider a great unusual thing, a pretentious thing. That great, unusual, pretentious thing is this." Despereaux's voice was pitched perfectly to make its way through the tortuous path of Meg's broken-down cauliflower ears. That is to say, dear reader, Meggery so heard, perfect and true, every single word the rat Despereaux uttered. "You have known your share of tragedy," said Despereaux to Meg. "Perhaps it's time for you to make the acquaintance of triumph and glory." "Triumph?" said Meg. "Glory?" "Allow me to introduce myself," said Despereaux. "I am Despereaux. Friends call me Despereaux. And your name is Meggery so. And it is true, is it not, that most people call you Meg?" "Ain't that the thing?" shouted Meg. "A rat who knows my name!" "Miss Meggery, my dear, I do not want to appear too forward so early in our acquaintance, but I may inquire, am I right in ascertaining that you have aspirations?" "What do you mean, aspirations?" shouted Meg. "Miss Meggery, there's no need to shout, none at all. As you can hear me, so I can hear you. We two are perfectly suited, each to each other." Despereaux smiled again, displaying a mouthful of sharp, yellow teeth. "Aspirations, my dear, are those things that would make a serving girl wish to be a princess." "Gore," agreed Meg. "A princess, exactly what I want to be." "There is, my dear, a way to make that happen. I believe that there is a way to make that dream come true." "You mean that I could be the Princess P?" "Yes, your Highness," said Despereaux, and he swept the spoon off his head and bowed deeply at the waist. Yes, your most royal Princess P. Gore, said Meg. May I tell you my plan? May I illustrate for you how we can make your dream of becoming a princess a reality? Yes, said Meg, yes. It begins, said Despereaux, with yours truly and the chewing of a rope. Meg held the tray with one small candle burning bright, and she listened as the rat went on, speaking directly to the wish in her heart. So passionately did Despereaux speak, and so intently did the serving girl listen, that neither noticed as the napkin on the tray moved. Nor did they hear the small mouse-like noises of disbelief and outrage that issued from the napkin as Despereaux went on unfolding step by step his diabolical plan to bring the princess to darkness. End of the third book. We're not done here, though. Book the fourth, Recalled to the Light. Chapter 34. Kill him, even if they's already dead. Reader, you did not forget about our small mouse, did you? Back to the light. That was what Gregory whispered to him when he wrapped Despereaux in his napkin and placed him on the tray. And then Meg, after her conversation with Despereaux, carried the tray into the kitchen, and when she saw Cook, she shouted, "It's me, Margarita, back from the deep downs." "Ah, lovely," said Cook. "And ain't we all relieved?" Meg put the tray on the counter. Here, said Cook. "Your duties ain't done. You must clear it." "How's that?" shouted Meg. "You must clear that tray," shouted Cook. She reached over and took hold of the napkin, gave it a good shake, and Despereaux tumbled out of the napkin and landed right directly plop in a measuring cup full of oil. "Ach!" said Cook. "A mouse in the kitchen and my cooking oil in my measuring cup? You may kill him directly." Meg bent her head and looked at the mouse slowly, sinking to the bottom of the glass cup. "Poor little Missy," she said, and she stuck her hand into the oil and pulled him out by his tail. Despereaux, gasping and coughing, blinking at the bright light, could have wept with joy at his rescue, but he was not given time to cry. "Kill him!" shouted Cook. "Gar!" said Meg. "All right." Holding Despereaux by the tail, she went to get the kitchen knife, but the mouse tail, covered as it was in oil, was slick and was difficult to hold on to, and Meg, in reaching for the knife, loosened her grip, and Despereaux fell to the floor. Meg looked down at the little bundle of fur. "Gore," she said. "That killed him for sure." "Kill him, even if he's already dead," shouted Cook. "That's my philosophy with mice. If they're alive, kill them. If they're dead, kill them. That way, you can be certain of having yourself a dead mouse, which is the only kind of mouse to have." "That's some good sophisy," she said. "That is, kill them, even if they're dead." "Hurry, you cauliflower-eared fool," shouted Cook. "Hurry!" Despereaux lifted his head from the floor, The afternoon sun was shining through the large kitchen window. He had time to think how miraculous the light was, and then it disappeared, and Meg's face loomed into view. She studied him, breathing through her mouth. "Little Macy," she said, "ain't you going to skedaddle?" Despereaux looked for a long moment into Meg's small, concerned eyes, and then there came a blinding flash and the sound of metal moving through air as Meg brought the kitchen knife down, down, down. Despereaux felt a very intense pain in his hindquarters. He leaped up and into action. Reader, he scurried. He scurried like a professional mouse. He zigged to the left. He zigged to the right. "Gar!" shouted Meg. "Missed him!" "Ain't that a surprise?" said Cook, just as Despereaux scurried under a crack in the pantry door. "I got little Macy's tail, though," said Meg. She bent over and picked up Despereaux's tail and held it up proudly, displaying it to Cook. "So?" shouted Cook. "What good would that do us when the rest of 'em has disappeared in the pantry?" "I don't know," said Meg, and she braced herself as Cook advanced upon her, intending to give her a good clout to the ear. "I don't know." That was pretty intense. Can't wait to hear about chapter 35. Oh my gosh. Thank you, readers. Have a great day.